Hey guys, welcome back to Young Americans Abroad, your best place for weekly content on young American soccer players playing overseas. My name's Austin Van Churn, and today I'll be flying solo. But as always, guys, welcome to our show. So guys, we're back again this week, and as you can see from the intro, my co-host Patrick will not be with us today on the show. He's still in the middle of a move in his personal life and actually doesn't have access to Wi-Fi at the moment. So he's still trying to get things sorted out where he is right now, and we'll miss you, buddy. Hopefully you're watching this when it comes out. And we have a great episode this week, and that was one of the reasons why we thought we still needed to film, just because so many things happened last week during Champions League, Europa League. And then also this past weekend, there was, a lot of goals, a few assists, and also some injury news, which was, a big concern to all of us if we're, U.S. men's national team supporters. So as always, guys, let's get into our episode. So the first player we want to talk about in our episode today is actually Christian Pulisic, who had a very eventful week, a week in which he turned 20 years old and actually scored the game winner for Borussia Dortmund in their midweek game in the Champions League against Club Brugge. So Dortmund ended up going on to win this game 1-0 thanks to Christian Pulisic's very fortunate goal in the 85th minute, where he got his foot in front of a defender's clearance and the ball ricocheted off his foot and looped over the Bruges goalkeeper, who had no shot in saving this unfortunate ricochet or just volley, I guess you could say. It happened so quick after the defender tried to clear the ball that no one really knew what was going on. But nonetheless, the goal was credited to Christian Pulisic again on his birthday. So it was a cool thing to see him get this birthday goal. And it also gave Dortmund the crucial win to start the Champions League season. So now they have 3 points, sitting at the top of their group, which is very good for them. And it's good to see Christian Pulisic scoring his second ever Champions League goal. And he followed this performance up over the weekend with probably his best performance that I can even remember, over the past year, I would say. And definitely the best performance so far of the season. And it was a performance where he actually scored a goal in Borussia Dortmund's 1-1 draw with Hoffenheim. And just all game, he kept taking on players. He looked really, really good on the dribble, just going by 2, 3, 4 players multiple times during the game, and actually had a really nice dribble through like 4 players and then crossed the ball into the box to Shinji Kagawa, who completely missed a wide open shot, which would have gave Christian Pulisic an assist as well as the goal on the day. But, the goal came in the 84th minute when Dortmund was down a man. And, it was just a square ball from Marco Reus to Christian Pulisic, who just finished, running into the box at full speed. So really good to see him on the score sheet for Dortmund already early on in the season. It's definitely good for his confidence because he needs to get off to a really good start if he's going to have a better year this year than he did last year. And this game was definitely, representative of that. He actually, he just looked incredible all game. Now, the one thing I was a little, critical of him just from this game, he did so well taking on people all throughout the game. There's so many different instances. He could have drawn a penalty in the first half, but the referee called, that there wasn't contact, but there clearly was contact. And then he also drew a free kick just outside the box later on in the second half. And so my one criticism, I guess, would be that I still think at times he's taking too many people on, and just every time he gets the ball, he's looking to go by people. And obviously in this game, he was able to do that. But in a lot of the other games we've seen, at least so far this season, that's not always the case. And, his teammates start to get a little angry with him from time to time when this happens. And, I think he should look to pass a little bit more, at least pass and move and try to work those, those quick 1-2s whenever he can. But, I don't want to be overly critical of Christian in this game because it was such a good game from him. And it really showcased, why people and why we believe, Christian's one of the brightest young prospects, not only in American soccer, but the world. It was really cool to see Christian playing really well against Hoffenheim and also getting that goal, which, like we said, was very, very good for his confidence and a great start to the season, and also a good end to an exciting week from him. So we'll hope to see more, coming up in this week. I'm not sure, how he'll be able to top it, but hopefully we'll find out and see that he will top it. But now I want to go over to the Netherlands and talk a little bit about Andrija Novakovich, who actually scored 2 more goals this weekend in Fortuna Sittard's 4-4 draw with Wilhelm. I guess the second. There's a special fancy way to pronounce it that I heard on the Total Soccer show today, but unfortunately I didn't have time to practice that pronunciation. But bear with me, I guess, guys. But so really cool to see Andrija on the score sheet again. Both goals really showcased his tight control and good touch, and just his striker's mentality. And I think the confidence that he's really brought to Sittard's team this year. Obviously a team that was just promoted last year from the Eerste Divisie up to the Eredivisie. And currently they sit in 11th out of 18, or in 11th position out of 18 teams in the Eredivisie. So, Andrija Novakovich has been a crucial part in, them staying in that mid-table range, at least to start the season. So that's really cool to see. And, it's just I really like Andrija's game. And I think, the more we see of Andrija, especially at this higher level, the more I think a lot of fans are, hoping that we'll get to see him actually on the field for the U.S. men's national team in the near future, just because it just seems that he has, a lot of different tools in his arsenal. It seems like he has some, like I said, some tight control, and also just has that like poacher's instinct, which, obviously we've seen from time to time with Bobby Wood, I would say. He's got pretty good control of the ball. And at one point in time, he did have a pretty good poacher's instinct, I would say. I don't think he has as good of a poacher's instinct as Andrija does. I think Bobby likes to play more on the counter and, just likes to get the ball in transition and kind of dribble one-on-one at a goalkeeper or around a defender and, take them on that way. Where I feel as Andrija is more of a possession-based striker who likes to, have his back to goal more. And just likes to, finish, any shot or any cross that comes into the box. He's always there looking to shoot on net. So, really good to see Andrija, who now has 4 goals all year in the Eredivisie, which is good enough for 10th, actually in the goal scorer standings, which is, I believe the top goal scorer in the Eredivisie has 7 goals at the moment. So 4 goals compared to 7, not so bad. And definitely, good to see him at least scoring goals. We're just talking about Bobby Wood, who still has yet to score for Hanover. So that's another issue for another time, I guess. But yeah, very, very cool to see Andrija again score 2 goals this weekend. Good for him. And we'll keep monitoring him. So now let's go back to Germany and talk about Weston McKennie, who had as well an eventful week where midweek he played 90 minutes for Schalke in their 1-1 draw with Porto and actually got the key assist for Schalke, who it was a nice assist where he took the ball down the field, or at least had it passed to him, squared the ball for Bierlin Bolo, who scored Schalke's only goal in that match. And that was a crucial point for Schalke to pick up because like a lot of people have documented so far this year, Schalke have yet to win a game in the Bundesliga. So just getting a draw in the Champions League was a big accomplishment for them, at least at this point in the season. And, we're talking about the Champions League and the Bundesliga. So now let's go to Schalke's game this weekend where they played Bayern Munich and actually lost 2-0. And in this game, Weston McKennie, he played, I guess, the first 53 minutes until he picked up an injury. And at first glance, it was basically him going in for a challenge against James Rodriguez, and James just kicked him kind of in the leg. And in real time, it didn't look like anything, too bad happened to Weston. He went down, was down for a little bit, but it was one of those incidents where you thought maybe he was just playing it up a little bit because Schalke was getting upset and frustrated throughout the first half at not getting calls, and it was, a direct kick to his leg. But once he stayed down for, a few minutes and you got to see his face and how much agony he was in, and when the trainers came on the pitch, you started to get a little more concerned. And then when he actually got up and was helped off by the trainers and didn't put any weight on the leg. That really got a lot of people concerned, including myself. So not to speculate too much, because we actually heard on Monday, or I guess it was on Sunday maybe, I guess kind of the diagnosis of Weston's injury. And thank goodness it wasn't a break, which was, very, very crucial and good to hear for Weston. But it is actually a deep bone bruise in his leg, in his upper part of his leg. So I believe the diagnosis is that Weston will be out for at least the next 1 to 2 weeks, and then we'll see, how fast they ease him back into training over at Schalke and back into the first team. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see him on the field for probably another 3 to 4 weeks, just because I feel like they're going to be a little more careful with him, especially since he had that minor knee problem, a few weeks ago after coming back from the U.S. men's national team games and friendlies. And I think just at the moment, if they lose West, if they rush him back and lose him for a longer period of time, I think that would actually hurt them. And, obviously the start to the season has been horrendous for them. So I think they'll look to at least try to be smart in their dealings with Weston, and, give some other players maybe some time on the pitch instead of Weston, which I guess wouldn't be so good if we're really, wanting Weston to get his starting spot right back when he is healthy. But I think it's good to see that. I think it would be good to see if Schalke kind of take it easy with him and ease him back into the first team, or at least into training and into playing again. I think that would be a good route to go for Schalke. I don't think they really need to rush Weston back right away, although I know, all of us would like to see it. And I also don't think he should really be called up for these October friendlies unless he's 100% healthy, because there's no point in, getting him healthy by the time these friendlies roll around and then just having him come on international break and, get injured again or have something happen. I think it's more important at this moment, especially with Schalke's bad start to the season, that he is healthy for all the time he's at Schalke, and kind of the men's national team, I guess, should take a back seat in this situation. But we'll keep you guys monitored with his injury. If we hear anything else or any new information, we'll make sure to pass that along to you guys on our Twitter or Instagram pages. So keep on the lookout for that. And it was unfortunate to see Weston go off in this game, because I felt he was having a pretty good game. Obviously, at the time, Bayern Munich was up 1-0, and Schalke was playing a little bit passive or a little cautious, I would say. But Weston during the game was doing a great job of getting forward, that we've really grown accustomed to see him do in that midfield position that he's been playing. And that's kind of the style of game he likes to play. He likes to get forward, make a lot of runs in behind the defense to kind of just shake things up and be the extra man getting forward and serving as an outlet for other midfielders or, wingers bringing the ball up the field, and then, look to pass to the striker who's in that same area with him. But yeah, I thought he did a good job connecting possession as well from midfield to attack. And yeah, it was just really unfortunate to see him go out with injury, because like I said, I thought he was having a good game, and I thought he was going to play probably another 90 minutes, to be honest with you, because just the type of team that Schalke has, I think a player of his quality and the position he fits for them, he's kind of the only player that can do what Schalke asks of him. So here's to, hoping Weston has a speedy recovery and we get to see him back in the Royal Blue real soon. So now let's go over to Sweden and talk about Romain Gall, who had a great weekend. Again, anytime he plays in the Swedish division, it seems like he scores a goal or has an assist. And in this game over the weekend, he actually had both. So Malmo won this game 4-0 over Kalmar in the Allsvenskan. But yeah, so Romain Gall again had a good game for Malmo. He hasn't been getting consistent minutes, which has been kind of concerning, to be honest. But the more he plays for Malmo, when he gets on the field, it seems like he's producing. So at least that's good. And his goals and assists haven't dried up since he's made this move. But I think that consistent playing time will come the more Malmo get I guess, acquainted to Romain Gall and see, what he's truly capable of. And like I said, the more he produces on the field, the more minutes I think he'll get from Malmo. So now that goal and assist this weekend actually brings his tally to 10 goals and 5 assists in 19 games in the Swedish top flight this season. So those are, really good numbers and nothing to balk at, even though it's in kind of a lower league or a league that doesn't have as much quality as some would hope for, I guess, if we're talking about a player that's in consideration for our men's national team. But like we've talked about a lot on this show, I think Romain Gall is one of the best winger options that we have at the moment if we want to play with wingers. Not sure if he would be best suited for that 4-1-4-1 that we've been playing recently. But, I just think Romain Gall has great technique, has a lot of, he looks really good on the ball and just has, good technique. I would say that's the best thing, or best, strength of his. I think he's just so silky smooth on the ball and can just kind of create chances kind of out of nowhere, to be honest. And that's something that we kind of lack in our pool at the moment. So obviously I would love to see Romain Gall called up in October, but I guess we'll have to wait and see what Dave Sarachan has in the future for Romain Gall, if he's even on his plans or in his plans or on his radar or not. But yeah, now let's go over to England and talk about Lynden Gooch, who actually scored 2 more goals this weekend and was also the man of the match for Sunderland in their 4-1 win, I believe, over Rochdale in League One. So the first goal for Lynden was actually a penalty that he drew himself, and he stepped up, buried the shot. Really good, well-taken penalty. So props to him. And then his second goal was also just a really nice goal. And that brings his tally this year to 3 goals and 4 assists in League One. And Sunderland now sit 3rd in the table in League One, which is the playoff promotion position. Sunderland's gotten off to a really good start in League One, which they really need to do, because they shouldn't be in League One. Obviously, they need to get back to the championship this season, especially for Lynden Gooch's sake as well, to get him playing against tougher competition, and get him back into that men's national team fold. But Lynden Gooch has been a vital part of Sunderland's success this season and is really becoming a fan favorite, which is really good to see. I think once Sunderland get promoted, and I think they will get promoted this year, knock on wood, I think being a fan favorite is going to pay big dividends for Lynden Gooch, and I think he's just going to get more minutes for Sunderland the higher they climb. And if he continues to perform this year, maybe you'll have other teams looking to come in and make a bid for him. But he's doing the best he can at the moment with the competition that's being put on the field next to him or in front of him. So I think that's really good to see from Lynden, and I don't think we can really expect much more from him this year. He just needs to keep consistently producing for Sunderland and continuing to be the guy for them. And I think Sunderland will have success this year, and it'll be cool to see an American leading the charge at a big club, or what once was a big club. But so the final player we want to talk about in this segment is Konrad de la Fuente, who had as well a very interesting week, like Christian Pulisic and Weston McKennie. So he actually played midweek in the UEFA Youth Champions League for Juvenil A, Barcelona's Juvenil A, and was actually involved and at fault for an own goal in this game, but then provided the game-winning assist for Juvenil A in that game. So, the assist came off some really nice footwork in the box, where he did a few step-overs and got by a man and crossed the ball into the box for the goal. He looked very silky in this game. I saw some more highlights of him. He's a very interesting player. I guess you could say kind of reminiscent to Tim Weah a little bit. I just think he's got more moves in his arsenal. And he's got that same close control that I think you see from Weah. You see it from Pulisic, definitely. But you don't really see it from too many other players in our pool. So I think, Konrad de la Fuente is a very talented prospect that seems to be very committed to playing for the U.S., which is good because I believe he can still play for Spain. but I'm not sure if he's represented Spain. I know he's represented Catalonia, which is a little bit of a different, I guess, thing you would say, because Catalonia, their team doesn't always come together all the time. So I don't think we have too big of a concern at the moment of losing Konrad de la Fuente, but he's definitely a player that has kind of flown a little bit under the radar so far, I would say, for some people. But I think he's a player that, is obviously in a great situation at Barcelona and has a lot of talent that could, I think he's got great potential. So I think we just need to keep watching Konrad de la Fuente and keep monitoring him. And I think it's worth mentioning that he's at a really good point so far in his Barcelona career. He's moved up the ranks very quickly. He's at Juvenil A right now, and he's 17 years old. And a lot of those players in Juvenil A are between the 17 to 19-year-old age range. So the next step for him would be to move up to Barcelona B. But a lot of the players on Barcelona B are usually between the ages of 19 to 21, and then some other players who are older than that. So the next logical move for Konrad, if he keeps climbing up the ranks in La Masia, is to go to Barcelona B. But, right now he's still in the very younger side, I guess I would say, of the Juvenil A team. And I think that's really cool to see because he's been starting pretty much every game for Juvenil A this year. And he's starting, amongst players who are 18, 19 years old, and he's a 17-year-old player doing that. So I think, he's definitely a player that has great potential. I think he's a player that Barcelona sees having great potential as well. And that's why, he's getting all these starts. So very exciting. And I think he could be that next prospect that could, break out. I don't think he'll ever really play for Barcelona. Well, I can't say that, but I don't think he's going to play for Barcelona anytime soon. But, he very well could do, finish the season strong this year, go on loan to a League Two, or sorry, getting France and Spain mixed up. But he could go on loan maybe to a team in the Segunda division in Spain, or go to Barcelona B. I think those are the next two options if he has a really good year in Juvenil A. But we'll have to wait and see. We still have a long season ahead of us. But it's really cool to see Konrad de la Fuente, doing big things, this week, and has just been performing really well. And one more thing I forgot to mention, Konrad de la Fuente actually scored a goal this past weekend as well for Juvenil A. So really cool to see him on the score sheet yet again this season. And yeah, again, just adding to what's been a great start to his season, and again, showing that Barcelona seem to have a gem on their hands. But now let's move it over to quick kicks. All right, guys, you know what time it is. It's time for quick kicks.
So you could test Dwayne Miller. It's Altidore over the wall, and that one is in! Josie Altidore from a long way out. The opening goal for the United States.
So to start off this segment of quick kicks, we want to just tell you guys that Jonathan Amon actually played 90 minutes for FC Nordsjælland in their unfortunate 2-1 loss to FC Copenhagen this past weekend. Now going over to Germany, I want to let you guys know that Sebastian Soto scored 2 goals yet again, but also had an assist this weekend for Hannover 96's U19s in their fantastic 5-0 win over Hertha Berlin's U19s. Now staying in Germany, I want to let you guys know that Chris Richards played 90 minutes in FC Bayern U19's 1-0 win over Nuremberg's U19s. Now going all the way over to Argentina, I want to let you guys know that George Acosta scored a goal for Boca Juniors in their 2-0 win this weekend. Then going to England, I want to let you guys know that Antonee Robinson played 90 minutes for Wigan Athletic in their 1-0 win over Bristol City. And this game actually featured a really nice defensive sequence from Anthony, where he just stymied a winger in a one-on-one duel. And it was, a really encouraging little one-on-one there. So great play from Antonee Robinson. Now moving back over to Germany, I want to let you guys know that Haji Wright actually came on and scored a goal and had an assist for Schalke's U23s. And that's actually his second goal of the season so far. Now moving over to France, we want to let you guys know that Matt Miazga played 90 minutes yet again for Nantes this weekend in their unfortunate 2-1 loss to Lille. Staying in France, we also want to let you know that Tim Weah, while he didn't make the PSG first team at any point this week, he did score again for PSG's reserves in their 2-0 win this weekend. Now going to Belgium, we want to let you guys know that Kenny Saief is back on the pitch and actually played 25 minutes this weekend in Anderlecht's 2-1 win over Standard Liège. Now going over to Spain, I want to let you guys know that Shaq Moore actually played 90 minutes in a 1-1 draw for CF Royce against Gymnastic. And finally, we want to bring up a new player, a 22-year-old German-American, Marcel Costly, who actually had a goal and assist in Magdeburg FC's 4-4 draw with Paderborn in the 2 Bundesliga this weekend. And now we want to end our show today the way we've ended all our shows this season, and that would be with our young YAA to keep your eye on. So the young YAA for today's episode would be Charlie Kelman, who is a 16-year-old striker in Southend United's academy. He is currently playing for the U18 squad there at Southend United and most recently featured for the US U18 team. But over the weekend, he actually scored 2 goals and had an assist in Southend United's U18's 5-0 win over Lynden Orient's U18 team. So congrats to Charlie, and definitely keep your eye out for him. And as always, guys, thanks for watching. Make sure you like this video and subscribe down below. And also follow us on our social media accounts on Twitter and Instagram. We're always trying to post, good content, and we're trying to always interact with you guys. And also, if you don't mind, leaving a comment down below. Tell us how much you miss Pat, because we'd love to have you back, Pat, whenever you get internet. But that's the end of this episode. So thanks again, guys. And I guess there's only one thing left to say, and that would be one day we will win the World Cup.